Thank you, Lasca and Corla. I welcome the opportunity to speak on this debate, and I want to commend my colleague, Deputy John Brazel, who has done a considerable amount of work on the basis of professional experience and qualification in this area to try and find, as he has pointed out, an alternative solution to the situation that we find ourselves in. We know that the current system is not working. In the last couple of years alone, there has been drug after drug debated at length in this House. We had Orkambi, Respreeza, we now have Spinraza. There will be more and more drugs, orphan drugs for rare diseases, continually. Every month, every year, they will come on down the tracks. So we need to find a better way of dealing with these drugs when they do come online, and find a better way of assessing these drugs in a fair and transparent manner that at least gives some opportunity for drugs that do work to actually make it through the system. The process as it stands will never allow a drug such as Spinraza to actually get through the process. It will never meet the cost ratio analysis because it is quite expensive, and a very small number of children and adults are affected by the disease which it seeks to treat. But that shouldn't preclude a drug which we know works, which we know saves lives, and which we know considerably increases the quality of life for children in this country from having a fair chance of being approved for funding for those families and for those children. We're not suggesting through this legislation that every single drug for rare diseases will make it through. That's not sustainable, it's not affordable, and of course we have a finite budget within the health service to actually balance and to try and afford all of these things. But currently, as it stands, these drugs will never get through. And what we're saying is that some drugs should have at least some chance of making it through the system, particularly in instances where we know they work to save lives and improve the lives of children and adults. In terms of the journey, and I want to focus on Spinraza because it's been a drug and an issue that I've been working on for the last number of months, and the type of journey that parents and children are forced to go through in these circumstances. The parents have contacted local TDs right across the country. We've organised a march outside of Leinster House. We've had several questions within the Dáil Chamber to you, Minister, to the Taoiseach, to the Taoiseach. There's been parliamentary questions. The list is endless as to the avenues that are taken by parents who are just desperate to get these drugs for their children. No family should be placed in that situation where the only avenue open to them is intense lobbying to create intense political pressure to try and get a decision that is politically made, because it doesn't work within the system. So because we know this, and we don't want to subject families in the future and children in the future to having to march outside the gates of Leinster House, we had a young girl, Grace, who's not even 10 years old, come and present to a room full of adults in the AV room to tell us why she needs this drug to actually live. We shouldn't have that situation. There needs to be a fair process where these drugs are properly assessed. If the system is set up where these drugs automatically fail, that's not fair. This particular piece of legislation would go some way towards redressing that balance and at least giving drugs that we know are efficient, that we know work. And these families and these children are openly saying, all we want is a chance. If this drug doesn't work for me, I don't expect the state to pay for it long term, but I want the opportunity and the chance to get a drug that could make a real difference and a real change to my life in terms of surviving and actually living longer. And in those instances, Minister, I would hope to see government supporting this bill and opposition parties supporting this bill also. Thank you very much.